Should I have picked the Frosted Flakes or the Puff and Puff cereal? I think it was Puff and Puff cereal. I'm not even sure. I don't know. That's a lot of pressure for a breakfast cereal. Bandersnatch, Netflix original interactive film. And I'm doing a review right now. The Nightmare on Elm Street reboot was the best one of the franchise. Oh my gosh, I didn't say that. Who said that? I would never say that. Is someone controlling me? Netflix? Is that you? Hey y'all, it's your twisted girl next door here, and today I am doing the review of Netflix original interactive film from their Black Mirror original series, and it's called Bandersnatch. Black Mirror Bandersnatch deals with a young programmer who makes a fantasy novel into a game for a big company. Trying to keep his mind into making it right, his own reality becomes weirdly disoriented. Okay, so I want to get into a review of this interactive film and what I thought about it, but also make sure to stick around because I'm going to reveal two of the happy endings, or happy for the Black Mirror universe, that I was able to discover when I played it. And let's see if you got the same happy endings that I did. I actually got like a total of 8 endings, but the 2 of those were like probably the happiest ones that you were going to get. I'm doing that in parentheses because is it anything ever really happy in the Black Mirror universe? Okay, so overall, they surprised us. Netflix surprised us because I think originally everyone who was excited, or even not excited, but just curious about Black Mirror doing a feature-length film. And for those of you who don't know, Black Mirror is a series where it's kind of like the Twilight Zone, but the major theme throughout the series is technology. Overall, I think it's fun. It's a fun thing maybe for all of the first couple of days that you'll play with it, or if you're like me, you probably sat there for like 2 to 4 hours doing the different scenarios. Oh my gosh. I do kind of question though, if without that interactive aspect, if this would have been like worth kind of a feature-length plot line or narrative. Because, this is a film review, so it's kind of like without that interactive sort of gimmick, is this a good film? Okay, so one of the pros was that this was innovative. Like I was just saying, oh my gosh, no one figured that this was going to be an interactive film. And I guess we should have thought that, because if it's a Black Mirror feature, why would Black Mirror just randomly do a feature, right? I guess maybe if they wanted to do a wider, more expanded episode, but even then, it's kind of like, this is Black Mirror. They deal with technology. So it was a great connection to the series. Full disclosure, I am not someone who regularly watches Black Mirror. I've seen a few episodes. I made the mistake of watching that first one. You do kind of wonder, where the film narrative begins and where you playing this as a game ends and whatnot. But the innovation it's something you don't see every day. The plot line was another pro. Not to give too much away, but because of the interactive aspect of the game, that actually plays a part in the plot line and the narrative. And so even that works. It's sort of meta, but not. There is humor at times. I dug the humor of it. You kind of have to have humor, right? Here's this game or film, I'm going to keep saying film and or game for the reasons I'm going to talk about in a second, where the narration goes, the narrative happens by what you pick for his breakfast, by what you pick him to do when he reaches the doctor's office, things like that. Sometimes it's small, choices, sometimes it's huge choices. And so you kind of have to have some humor in it, because it's like you are literally sitting here creating this person's life. It's long. I think, and this is what I mean, when some of us sit down for a film, you're willing to give about an hour and a half to maybe 2 hours of your time in life. When it's something like this, where it's going to take, if you're like me, if you kind of have the personality like I do, you want to see all the scenarios because you sat down for a story. You want to see all the stories. So I think in that sense, it's going to be more than an hour and 45 minutes that you're sitting there, because one, they don't allow you to go back any further than your last choice. So what Netflix does, it forces you to go through the whole story, which I guess is a good thing, right? So it kind of takes away a little bit of that gaming aspect. You know, with gaming aspects, you can kind of go further and further back. You can start from where you last saved and all this other stuff. It's kind of an experiment on you too. That's a lot of pressure. But in that sense as well, you have to go through the whole story. And therefore, if you want to see the 6 to 8 different endings, and maybe someone out there, maybe you have found more endings than that. I got about 7 or so. I think I got 8 maybe of the endings. That's a lot of times to be going through about a 50-minute kind of film, right? So let's just say, for example, I started at 8:15 p.m. And let's say for another example of that, I didn't get up till 10 p.m. from my computer. It's not an example. It's the truth. That's what happened. My other con is, like I was saying before, aside from the interactive aspect of it, it feels a little thin without the interactive aspect. If I was to minus the fact of my own stress and everything and picking whether he should eat Frosted Flakes that day. The other con, and for those of you who are Black Mirror fans, you'll probably be like, what did you expect? Once again, it's a Black Mirror series. And spoiler alert for people who are not Black Mirror watchers, it's kind of depressing, right? I think, and maybe this is me just being an entitled viewer, if I'm going to be thrust to something and I'm told that it's a game, I do believe that there should be chances to have a happier ending. It's a rigged game if everything I choose turns to crap. No, it's not scary. It's not a scary film. It's a creepy film. It's creepy. It's creepy for a variety of aspects, right? One, you are controlling what's happening, and that's creepy because some creepy stuff happens based off of your choices. So if you're someone who panics and things of that nature, then you will be creeped out by this. One of the warnings is suicide warnings. There is choices and aspects of it of suicide. And if that's something that just skeeves you out or you don't like it as a narrative sort of element, then you may not like playing this interactive film. Yes, this film is tab approved. If you minus out the warnings I gave and some of the cons, I do think it's a great experience. Do I think it's the future of cinema? No. Okay, so bonus. The 2 happy endings that I found. Like, mind you, I found like 8 endings, but there were 2 endings that out of that 8, or was it 6 or so, my brain just kind of, everything started melting together after 2 hours of playing the game that I thought were the happiest I think you're going to get, okay? And I want to tell people this, so if you're like me, you don't keep searching for the happy ending. The first ending depends on your priorities. When it comes to the ranking of his game that he ends up making, there's different scenarios where, one, it gets 0 stars. It's like out of 5 stars, this game reviewer does it, who's, I guess, a really important game reviewer. 1 is 0 stars. 1 is like 2.5 stars. The other one's like 3 stars. And then there's one scenario where he gets 5 stars. 5 out of 5 stars. It's considered the best game ever. And so, if that's your priority, that is one of the happy endings. Now, the catch to that is he killed his dad. You had to choose to kill his dad. And so that's brutal, for one. And you also have to choose for him to chop up his dad's body. But you got a 5 out of 5 when it came to the game. So happy ending if that's your priority. The second ending is the happier ending, but bittersweet. Is one, you need to figure out what happened with his mom when he was younger, because this will play into making those choices. But the happiest ending that I thought was him going back in time to his past self, and instead of missing the train with his mom, he gets on the later train with his mom as his past self. And so he mentally dies with his mother, because his mother died when he was younger, and he blames himself and his father for it because he was searching for his toy bunny, and his mom had to catch the later train. And so he goes back in time. You make it so he finds the toy bunny, and you can choose to go on his mom still goes on the late train, but now you can choose whether or not you want to go with her. I'm morbid, so I chose to go with the mother. And so what he does, you kind of see that he's happy as his younger self because he gets to be with his mother, but then it flashes back to him being in the doctor's office and he kind of just dies. I consider that a happy ending. It's the happiest I think you're going to get, where he doesn't end up murdering anybody. And he was kind of a miserable guy anyway. So, I mean, okay, so did you watch/play Bandersnatch? What did you think? What scenarios do you think were the happier endings? Maybe you have a different perspective of what you thought the happy ending was other than I did. Let me know, comment down below. And also, be sure to subscribe so that you are the first to know when I post my videos of all things horror and dark fantasy. Thanks for watching. Let's get creepy together.